ladies and gentlemen, right honorable members of the opposition. If I listened carefully to the presentation, it would appear as if we've awakened into a nightmare rather than a dream, and your designating the attributes of the nightmare would make you a very, very good speechwriter for Barack Obama. I think that the American dream is always undergoing transformation. And it's always undergoing transformation because the American dream has to be completely re-dreamt, cycle by cycle. At the moment in which the deepest contradictions in the social order transform a prior version of the dream into precisely the nightmare that's already been outlined, then it calls on visionaries of the standing of Martin Luther King, all of those involved in the Declaration of Sentiments in Seneca Falls, all of those who marched in Selma or who rebelled in Stonewall, to call attention to precisely the bankruptcy of a version of the American dream that does reproduce the nightmares of a social order in which the people have been reduced to a state of surplus powerlessness as a consequence of the surplus power that has been transferred onto 1% of the American population. What has to be understood in the present moment in the United States is that, to use the terms of the present proposition, we're now dreaming or re-dreaming the American dream because the prior version of it has become unlivable. And there's a distinction to be adduced between envisioning a way of life that can enrich and deepen the life experience of everyone, and producing precisely the fabrication that allows Wall Street to completely ignore not only Main Street, but the impoverished sectors of the United States. It is impossible, it seems to me, to refute the proposition, this House still dreams the American dream, in the wake of Barack Obama's second inaugural address. What has to become clear to anyone who listens carefully to that address is that Barack Obama is, every time he uses the phrase, "we the people," producing a new contract with America that is designed to take the power over the social order away from a group that calls itself the Tea Party, that organized itself around the logics of what it called the contract from America, that had as one of its deep purposes a retrieval of the secessionist, racist, neo-Confederate mentality of the post-Civil War era. The American dream has a history that goes back to the 15th century, when the dream was Europe's dream for a new life, for a liberation from social orders that were unequal, and in which liberty was assigned only to a specific class. The word dream is used in the United States to locate not mere fabrication, but a desire to experience an equality that lives up to the vision of the founders, said all mankind is created equal. You dream, desire that you experience as, in a sense, unfulfillable. When the American dream was used by the feminist movement in the United States, it was brought into alliance with a power of affect, with a power of emotion, with an immense power of feeling that would take the disaffection, alienation, experience of disempowerment and infuse it with, let's call it, the emotional logic of the dream that makes music and poetry and mobilization possible. A dream mobilizes the powerless. When Martin Luther King used the phrase, "I have a dream," at the heart of his speech in his March on Washington, that one day this nation will live up to the true meaning of its foundational creed. All men are created equal. He was invoking the dream for figures excluded from the dream. The deep paradox that becomes clear from right honorable opposition is that in the wake of the Bush administration, almost the entirety of the American population was excluded from the dream. When Barack Obama invoked Martin Luther King 3 days ago in order to reanimate an American public, he was addressing the 99% of the American public excluded from the dream, not in order to refute the dream, but to re-dream it in the 21st century, when all of us on this planet share the conditions that make climate control, a sense of poverty, healthcare crisis, not just specific to the United States, but a planetary matter. The American dream is shorthand for a sense of empowerment for mankind, humankind, that was given one form of realization in the 18th century and requires a very, very different vision in the 21st. The American dream is not any longer an American dream. This house still dreams the American dream in opposing one version of it. We share that opposition.